rental real estate. Real estate's been quite the rage for the last decade. You seem like you could do no wrong, and all of a sudden people are starting to realize they have done wrong. It is the least liquid consumer investment. And I am a big fan of real estate. Dave and Sharon Ramsey have two kinds of investments: paid for real estate and mutual funds. That's it. Don't have anything fancy. That's all we do. Paid for real estate and mutual funds. But I will tell you this, real estate will make you broker and broker and broker. That's why they call them brokers. If you buy real estate when you don't have any money, you will crash. It is not a broke person's game. So build up a little bit of wealth, get your baby steps done, get your home paid off, and then start plinking off and buying some properties and paying for them, and then you're going to have a really sweet thing in your portfolio. But you start buying a bunch of stuff with a bunch of payments and the renters don't pay, all of a sudden you're back where I was 20 years ago and you're bankrupt. You should have a lot of cash before using real estate as an investment. Real estate eats cash, no question about it. Buy slowly. Always buy investment properties with cash. Nothing down real estate is a one-way ticket to bankruptcy court. Never pay retail. When you're buying real estate, all good real estate investors will tell you that that all your money is made in real estate at the buy. So circle like a friendly vulture and get you a serious bargain when you buy something. You don't want to pay full price ever when you're an investor. You want to get a deal. Just wait. Patience, get you a deal. Use cash, get you a deal. Use the negotiating stuff we talked about in the That's Not Good Enough lesson, the bargain hunting lesson. Use that stuff when you're buying real estate. Get a bargain on it. Win with your real estate purchases. Your money's made at the buy. Now, fixed annuities, let's look at annuities for a second. Annuities are a savings account with the insurance company. That's all an annuity is. You think a savings account with a bank is a certificate of deposit. A savings account with an insurance company is an annuity. That's all an annuity is. It's nothing fancy, nothing sophisticated. There are two main types of annuities. Number one, fixed annuities. These are crummy. They give a low rate of return. It's basically a savings account with an insurance company. They're going to pay around 5%. They aren't really fixed, actually, but that's what they call them. And they're bad long-term investments because they don't pay enough. The only annuities I like are variable annuities. Now, variable annuities are mutual funds inside of an annuity. So let's pretend that this cookie jar represents an investment. And that for purposes of this discussion, this investment might be mutual funds. This cookie jar could be mutual funds. All an annuity is a coat that comes around the investment to keep it warm, right? And if it keeps it warm, it keeps taxes off of it, all right? And you pay for the coat. So you pay an annuity fee and you pay a mutual fund fee, both. But we're keeping it warm from taxes by putting it in an annuity. That is a good part of the variable annuity. So it's a way to buy mutual funds if you've maxed out all your retirement and your house is paid for and everything else. It's a way to buy mutual funds and let them grow without paying taxes on them as they grow. And you pay an extra fee for that. Some of these have some really cool features. These variable annuities, they will guarantee your principal. If it goes down in value, the mutual funds do, they will guarantee what you put $100,000 in there, they'll guarantee it. That's kind of nice, especially when folks get a little bit older and they're wanting to do some investing. And some of them are even giving you a floor. They're saying, well, we'll pay you at least 8%, knowing that the stock market has averaged 12. That's a pretty safe bet for them. But they give you this floor on interest rates and a guarantee on your principal. Nice little features for that coat, and it's kept warm for mutual funds. Now, I don't use variable annuities a lot because I want to be able to get at my money at my age a little bit. But if you want to use them as part of your investing after you've done all your other stuff, they have a place. But that's after you've maxed out everything else. Do not use a variable annuity inside of a thing that's already tax protected. How many of you are teachers or you're in the pastoral world, or maybe you work for a hospital and you have a 403B available? Anybody? 403B. Now, 403B, a lot of times they'll offer you a variable annuity inside your 403B. Well, the 403B is already protected from taxes. But yet, when we put in a variable annuity, we put another coat around it like it was still cold. It's redundant. You're paying too many fees for no reasons. Inside your 403B, just buy mutual funds. Don't buy something because it's already warm. It's already been covered by the 403B. And so don't do that. That's a redundant situation.
Yes, because everyone has something that's gold and they could sell it for a lot of money.
For now, it would be a good investment because it is very high in the market.
I mean, I only own like one gold thing.
Yeah, because actually later on it'll probably be a lot more expensive than it is now, and you can get your money's worth out of it.
I think we're on a gold standard now.
I think gold is a very good investment just because it's something that's more value than paper.
Now, bad ideas in the investment world. Bad ideas. The first one is gold. There's gold commercials all over the radio. They're all over cable. Buy gold, buy gold. If the economy collapses, we'll use gold. No, we don't. That's just simply not true. Historical facts are gold is not used when an economy collapses since the Roman Empire. Find me one. You know anything about, did you ever take Western Civ? I mean, did you ever, look at them. There's no failed economy where gold became the standard. Where, you know, and let me give you a microcosm, a little micro failed economy, all right? You remember when Katrina hit New Orleans? There was nothing left. Just wiped it out, right? Anybody remember that? Say yes. Yes. That, in a sense, that's a failed economy right then, isn't it? Okay? People weren't running around down there with little bags of gold. But I tell you what, a bottle of water or a can of gasoline to get you about anything you wanted for a month or two there, wouldn't it? Goods and services sold and bartered are what happens when an economy collapses. People don't go, here, I'll give you my ring. They don't want your ring. They want a bottle of water. That's what happens. So that's a bogus thing. And besides that, over a 50-year track record, gold has averaged 4.1%. Hadn't even kept up with inflation. So the only gold I've got is I got some pretty cool cufflinks and a decent gold watch. That's the only gold I got. I don't own a single piece of gold, nor would I ever, ever, ever recommend you buy gold. Number two, commodities and futures. Buying and selling stuff like pork bellies or wheat futures or oil futures. Any of you see the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy? That's what they were doing. They were running a scam in the middle of the commodities thing. Commodities is a great way to lose a bunch of money because really what you're betting against is the weather. This is dumb. Have you ever noticed that the only two people who can keep their jobs are economists and weather forecasters and still be wrong all the time? The rest of us, if we're wrong all the time, we lose our job, but they can keep theirs. Who knows what it's going to do? You don't know. I bought a gold future one time. I put two dumb things together. Gold, and I bought futures. This friend of mine was playing golf with this guy, and he'd been picking gold prices in the commodities market. And 11 out of 11 times he had hit. Pretty impressive. I'm 25 years old. I know everything. And I've got $5,000. So I put $5,000 in a 92-day future. That means in 92 days, if gold prices hit a certain level, my $5,000 would be worth $50,000 as a tenfold kick. Pretty sweet. But if it doesn't hit that level, and if this guy goes 12 out of 12, I figure he's got a dozen in him, right? He's done 11 in a row, but he's probably got a dozen in him. I'm going to try this. So I put $5,000 in. And I'm thinking it's going to turn, if it doesn't hit that mark, though, you get zero. So it's 0 or 50 grand. In 92 days, I learned more about gold than I have in my entire life. I watched every day what gold was doing. I was freaking out about gold, and we lost every dollar of that. It didn't hit. He missed it. And that's what you usually do, playing around with stuff like that. Don't pay stupid tax. Stupid tax is when you lose money doing stupid things with money. Don't do stupid things with money and lose your money. I've paid lots of stupid tax. Learn from somebody else who's learned the hard way. Don't do it. Day trading. Day trading is stupid. CNN reports that 88% of the day traders lose money, and 70% lose nearly all of it. Not long ago, I had a lady from Louisville, Kentucky call me whose husband had lost $625,000 day trading. The last $150,000 of that $625,000 he lost, he had put on credit cards. You know why she called me? She wanted to know how she was going to make it as a single mom because she had left him the day before. He completely ruined his life chasing a rainbow. It's not there. But he bought one of these systems, one of these get-rich-quick things, decided it was going to be easy, and he didn't have to do it the slow way, and he got his tail kicked in.
Jeff, why is day trading such a bad idea?
I can't imagine how that's a good idea, ever. What is some guy doing in his basement or at your company desk when you're supposed to be working, making changes on your 401k plan or buying stocks and then selling them? There's all kinds of this nonsense stuff sold on TV about when to buy a good stock and then how you're supposed to sell it. Statistically, you're not going to do well. In all seriousness, you'd be better off to take your money and go to Vegas and gamble because you don't know what you're doing and you're not going to make money.
Viaticals are just ridiculous. This is when you buy the beneficiary position on a life insurance policy of someone who's dying. They've got cancer. You figure they're going to make it 4 months. You're going to get $100,000 when they die, and you buy that for $60,000. But what'll happen is this guy's chemo kicks in, and he lives another 30 years. And that's what's happening. The viaticals are full of fraud. It's a great place to get conned and scammed. As a matter of fact, the Federal Trade Commission lists it in the top 10 scams out there. And 38 states right now, the attorneys generals are doing investigations of viatical companies. If somebody comes to you with something like that, stay completely away from it. Listen, just keep it simple. If you're looking for a shortcut, you got the wrong spirit. That's not how wealth is built. It's built gradually, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer.
Jeff, if someone ends up in a bad investment, how can they go and approach this topic with their broker?
Well, I think there's levels of bad. If it's a bad investment just because you've lost a little money, that's not a big deal because the market could go down the day after you invest. So if it's a good long-term investment that has a great track record and it's down, then it's cool. But if it's an investment where it really looks like you were scammed or taken advantage of, then I would contact the broker. I'd do some research on the internet and find out what you have and what's available. And then if you were really scammed, then I would do some type of research with compliance regulation and tell them that I invested in this and it didn't work out and this is what my broker told me and come to some resolution.
Now we're going to talk about things like IRAs and 401ks and 403bs and 457s and all that stuff in another lesson where we talk about how to shelter, how to put a code around these different investments. But I want to close up with this. Not long ago, I was meeting with a guy having lunch. Now, I told you I like to hang out with somebody who's done something I haven't done to be able to learn from them. This guy's 72 years old and he's a billionaire. A billionaire. That's 1,000 million. Okay? You're beginning to get this. This is a lot. It's a lot more than I've ever seen. So when I have lunch with him, I've got my yellow pad out and I'm taking notes. I don't want to talk here. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to learn. I'm sitting at the feet of the master. This guy's got a strong Christian faith. He's got a wonderful family. He's got a wonderful business. His life is pretty awesome looking in from the outside. I know folks have problems and he probably has his share, but he's got $1 billion and I want to know how you do this. I want to learn from him. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed in the last few years to have lunch with several billionaires. I used to go have lunch with millionaires. Now I am one. I want to meet with billionaires. Okay? These guys, there's only about 300 of them in the United States right now. It's pretty amazing. So, they're fairly rare breed. So I'm sitting and talking to this guy, and I said, all right, so if you were me and you were my age, you know a lot about what I do, what would you do? Great question, right? And he thought for a minute, and he said, well, there's 2 things that you must do if you want to win. I went, oh, good. I can do this outline. 1, 2. This one I can do. It's always simple, isn't it? He said, 1, I hear you on the radio when someone's hurting. I hear you give them a free book or you put them through your course. I hear you do that all the time. If you ever stop doing that, I'm going to call you and bust you. Because he says, I've never met anybody who wins at money that doesn't give. And he said, you keep that giving spirit if you want to win. Check. I can do that one. I got that one. We can do that. Second thing is, there's this book I read. Now, I'm a huge reader. I believe in reading. Leaders read. Everybody that wins is a reader. So I'm a book nut. I got books everywhere. And I'm going, book, oh good, I'm going to write the book down. What's a book? This guy's got a book for me. I want the book. He goes, this book is so good. He said, I read it to my grandkids over and over and over again. Really? Your grandkids? I knew this stuff was simple. I tell people it's simple. Here I am. It's proven my theory. It's right. Simple. And he says, have you ever read the book, The Tortoise and the Hare? And I went, that's what you've got for me? The Tortoise and the Hare. And he said, yeah, Dave, I read The Tortoise and the Hare all the time. He said, I read it to my grandkids over and over and over again. He said, we live in a culture full of hares. The whole culture's ADD. They all need Ritalin. I mean, they're going bananas, you know? He said, there are so few tortoises. And he said, every time I read the book, the tortoise wins. Every time. I'd never get to the end of it. Chris is 22 years old, sends me an email. I love this when a 22-year-old asks a question like this and is at college. So smart. He says, what are the common traits of a millionaire? Well, Chris, you already have one of them. It's asking questions and learning and growing. The average millionaire reads a nonfiction book a month. Find people that are what you want to be, figure out what their habit patterns and character traits are, and become one of them, then you will become one of them. And so you're on track to do that already by just asking this question. Very smart. Great book out by Tom Stanley called The Millionaire Next Door, where he studied millionaires. It's the consummate study ever done of a group of millionaires and what their traits are. Number one, they usually buy and drive used cars. A lot of them are self-employed. Most of them are first-generation rich, meaning they didn't start with daddy's money. And so that tells you and me, regular guys like us, we got a shot at becoming a millionaire. So you live on less than you make, you're conservative, and let me tell you one of the key qualities you'll find with the typical millionaire I've met with over the years. They really have almost no need to impress you. You know, all these other people run around trying to impress everybody, they're the ones that are broke. They're what people in Texas call big hat, no cattle. And so you need to actually have a plan where you don't care what the broke people think. And if you don't care what the broke people think, dude, you are on your way to being a millionaire. And then lastly, don't try to get rich quick. The best way to get rich quick is to get rich slow.
Jeff, can a college student become a millionaire?
All of them can. That's what's so neat. Every single kid in school can become a millionaire. All we have to do is a few things consistently over the long term. And really that just means you remember Ben and Arthur, that story? All you have to do is start young and invest consistently and you'll do well. That's the beauty of it, is a little bit of money invested over the long term, it makes everybody a millionaire.
So you are recommending students to make sure their tuition's paid for, they're out of debt, they have an emergency fund, and then anything else they get to throw at investments.
Yeah, you can't do it with all that debt. That's the biggest disappointment when people retire, is if they have a ton of debt, we have to take all this money that they've accumulated and pay off the debt, because the debt isn't going away until you pay it off. So if you can live a life where you never incur all that debt, especially when you're young, and then you'll have more money to invest, and then it's all yours and you don't have to pay it back to anybody.
As a college student, investing may seem like an intimidating idea, but as Dave has explained, it is vital to start at a young age if you're financially ready. Time is on your side, and the earlier you start, the easier it is to grow tons of wealth. So if you have your emergency fund, are out of debt, and have a comfortable pile of money in the bank for your transition out of college, start investing today. It's an exciting thing to see your money make more money, but make sure you're in the right position before you start. Remember to find someone who can help you break it down easily, and make sure you understand everything before you start putting your money in. This is an exciting concept. You're planning out how you could become a millionaire. Imagine if you had millions of dollars. Think about the change you could make in this world.